just want to thank you to Margot for helping me organize this wonderful get-together. Because he would tell, you have to do this. This is really good for you. And you know, when I first started this work many years ago in Los Angeles and in the Midwest, I had people like Margot who would be professionals in the community who had come to see a presentation, either a presentation of my work or somebody else's presentation of Constellation work. And once you see it, you'll know this is powerful stuff. And so they would then send their clients to me, and they would do what Michael did with you. He said, you have to do this. I cannot help you move further in your process unless you don't look at what you're carrying from the lineage, because, you know, that we are made up from, you know, where we come from. And we have this wonderful tool now to, you know, see what makes up who and what we are in life, or what we think anyway, what we are in life. And so they would literally say, okay, you gotta do this, or I won't work with you anymore. And so that's how my work grew in those places, people really seeing the power of it and wanting to share it with others. And the reason why I left this work, even though I thought, you know, this is my life work, I'll do it forever, because it is so powerful, was that I saw working just on our personal stuff, what we carry, you know, what we think we are, what makes us up of us being these individual people who we think we are, doesn't ever release us to really be free. I didn't know that. I just saw that one day. I saw that working on our personal issues will take us in circles forever and will not ever set us free. And I was always about being free myself, and I've done loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of personal healing work over many, many, many years, even before I came to Constellation work. And I thought the more you work on yourself, you know, the deeper you release stuff and work on stuff, you eventually be free. And that one day I saw that's not ever going to get us free, because we will always have another problem show up. And that was the case for me. You know, I worked on something and the next day another issue was there. So it's like working on the personal level is really, really important and essential and helpful for us to live good lives, but it's not going to get us free. So that's why I left Constellation work originally. Thought I'll never ever do it again because I didn't see the point. And, you know, early this year or last year, I think with Ping coming and saying, you know, in China everybody does this, it's so powerful work, and he already had me set up over in China to do work over there. And I said, I'm not interested. I know it's powerful work, I have done it for many years, I know it's powerful, but I'm not interested. I want to help people get free. I want to get free, and I want to help people get free. So we did a constellation, 2 constellations for them in, you know, to help in their personal life with something, which is, you know, which is fine. There's no problem with doing that. But those people who participated, interestingly enough, had shifts happen that were kind of assisting in the waking up process. And I was thinking, that's interesting. Maybe there's more to it than I knew at the time. And of course, not having seen through how life really works, I couldn't see how it would be helpful for something else. And my process was really a 4-year process to see through how life really works. You know, taking things away that I thought Margot was, all of that. And then living for 4 years from no self, no longer having this structured belief system of who and what I am. And then 3 years thereafter to kind of embody it, because I was a hermit. I was a traveling hermit living in third world countries on my own, isolated. So how do you then live this in the Western world and in a relationship? It's like a whole lot of stuff then surfaced from there. So this is an exploration. I don't know quite how it's gonna really work with the awakening, with setting us free. I have a sense, and I'll explain that throughout the day of what's necessary and how constellation work is helpful for this, and what you can take home with practicing and integrating this, or other healing work that you may be doing, how to incorporate in a way that gets you free. And so, we're in this together. I share with you what I know and how I see things, and hopefully you, in the process, as we're doing this, will share with me how things surface for you and what insights you get. So we'll explore, is this really something that can help in the awakening? And if yes, how? And if how can we speed it up? Can we speed it up? And if yes, then how? And so you are all an integral part in this. I just happen to know this system, so that's why I'm sitting here. But I'm there with you, right, at the same place. I want to just, can I have a show of hands of who have never seen constellation work? Okay. So, I'll explain the process when we start, but I want to tell you that we're working with a field, knowing field, that will provide information. And there's a well-known scientist whose name is Rupert Sheldrake, who has studied the phenomena of field and instinct with animals, originally with animals. And he has several books out. I'll just explain one particular thing so you get a sense of what he's talking about. So he would videotape animals who are at home when their owners go to work. And he would videotape them and be in touch with the owner when they left work or when they had a thought about leaving work, and then actually started the process of going to work, like getting out of the building into their car. And at the exact same moment, that animal would go to the door and sit and wait for the owner. So there is a link, an energetic, these are words, we don't really have words for this stuff. There's an energetic or some kind of intuitive link that animals have with their owners or with other animals, right? That is not known or seen, that we don't quite comprehend with our mind or how we understand life right now. That, animals routinely are in touch with. And he documented this, he studied this. He's a fascinating guy. You may want to look him up. There's YouTube videos on him, Rupert Sheldrake. And so when he came to see this work, at one point, many years ago, I met Bert Hellinger, was invited. They had a discussion, him and Bert Hellinger and another woman. And he said, this is the first time I see it in action with human people, with human beings, with people. That same field that he had studied for many years with animals. So we are working with something that, there are no words for, but we are all linked And later I'll show you my visuals. Some of you have seen my visuals, know already what you're gonna see. But we are linked, obviously, because that's who and what we really are, an energy field that knows everything that has ever happened in all of human history, and we're linked to that field. We are actually that field, that consciousness, our awareness field. And so, from that field, if we allow that field to guide us, which is what we're going to be doing here today, then information can show up that our mind cannot know. We have no idea what happened 10 generations back, which may today influence us, that we may be angry all the time. Or 100 generations back, because we are afraid all the time, or whatever. I'm just making something up. So my job is to make, and this is what I learned initially, how to put Margot aside, make myself completely empty. Everything that I thought that I had studied, that I knew about constellation work, about the different orders within family generations, and I had to put everything aside to make myself completely empty so I could hear, another word that doesn't make sense in regular terms, but so I could hear or sense or know or see what was necessary for each person. Because I didn't, how do I know? I mean, how do I know anything? I know nothing. How I can help somebody. So by sitting with somebody, hearing what they're saying they want for their life, this greater field then shows me in a way what they need. And I'm inviting you, when you are asked to participate for somebody setting up their constellation, that you as well, and I'll guide you and I'll show you how you can do that in the best possible way, to put aside everything that you know or think you should be doing or what is right or not right. Put it all aside and to just really become present to what shows up. And you allow yourself to be surprised. Here you don't have to know anything. It's so it's so effortless, actually. The less you know, the better you'll do. And allow something else that's completely beyond thinking and mind to show up and take hold and utilize this body for the benefit of this person for these people we're gonna be working with. Yeah. And so, how do I pick? Who do I pick? I don't know. In the moment, that field that we are all part of, that is kind of brought us all together and guides this whole process, will tell me, okay, now pick her or pick him. I don't know why. So please don't take anything personal here, because it's not personal. If I don't choose you, it's not because I don't like you or you It's not. It's the field is just not giving me an okay. And you know what that feels like, right? If you have a sense I should do this and not that. And it's like, but you want to do this, but it's like the energy doesn't let you do something. You all know that, right? That's what it's like for me. I cannot do what I may want to do because you're asking me to do it because you really want this. If I don't have the impulse, the movement, I can't do it. Okay? Because in that way, we'll all get the greatest benefit out of being together. If we allow this greater field to just guide us, whatever is necessary in a moment for all of us, because this is each and every work that we'll do. If you have the sense, if you can hold within you the knowing that there may be a piece in there, even just the minutest piece, that will help you somehow shift something in you, That's all you came here for. That's all. And then from that tiny little shift, maybe another shift you get from somebody else's constellation. Because we don't know how many of these tiny little shifts we need in order that we can actually start working on our own, because we may be so knotted up, or whatever, right? The programming may be so knotted up that we couldn't actually access it unless these tiny little shifts have first shifted. And I can't know and you can't know. Does that make sense? Yeah. So some of you drove really far. And if there's no movement for me to work with you today, please don't feel like you are missing out. Take each constellation and take what you get from there to make the shifts necessary until maybe we meet again, or maybe not. Things will work on their own after a constellation gathering like this. All the little shifts that you got to the awareness of, oh my God, I've never seen this before. They will work in you. They will on their own break, the grids down. What you will see today in constellation work will help you change the way you look at women, the way you look at men, the way you look at mothers and fathers and children, and maybe murderers, perpetrators, victims, who knows. You will get a completely different view of human beings and their actions and their behaviors. Because you get an inside view of why somebody does something that could actually come from long time back. The way we look at life right now is just whatever we see. And there's so much more to each person than that. A constellation is one picture in a point of time with wherever somebody's at that particular moment. So that person would bring the same issue, maybe this afternoon or tomorrow morning, most likely something different would show up. Because nothing is ever static. Yeah?
It was
So, the whole idea behind constellation work is that we shift the unconscious image of the family lineage, or the problem, we may not even know what it is, whatever we are holding, to see it, to bring it into a whole different alignment, release whatever is there that's holding us back, or help others in our lineage release what's held them back. Shift the whole energy around, bring about a new picture, and then you forget about it. So from there, then, from this new picture, life moves on forward.